All right, folks, so today we're going to work on the pacing exercise. In order to do that, we need another new composition in After Effects. So after you open up After Effects, go ahead, click New Composition. This time we're going to go down and we want to make sure that the time for this project is 2 seconds, 12 frames. So let's change that 2 seconds, 12 frames. And after that, I think we'll be good. So we'll say okie dokie. And after that, we go down and it says import multiple files. We don't need to do that. The only one we have on our assignment here is this bicycle pump sound effect. Go ahead and download that from the Schoology page. You can then go ahead and bring that bicycle pump over into your project. So go over to your project tab on After Effects, bring in the bicycle pump, and the only thing you'll be missing from the instructions is that circle, but that's okay. We can just make the circle straight in After Effects. So we've got the pump, we've got the comp, we've got the circle. Life is good. So it says to place the Illustrator file. That's okay. We're just going to make it. So I'm going to go in here. I'm going to grab my ellipse tool once more. I'm going to hold down Shift, make that ellipse, so I get a nice clean ellipsoid. If I hold down Shift, I can also expand that circle. Okay, we've got one. Then it says to draw another circle that needs to be blue. And this one's about halfway up our composition. So again, I'll just draw this bad boy. This time I'll change its fill color to blue. And then we just have one more thing. They want us to type a letter O. Let's see how that goes. So I draw my O. Oh. Oh boy. So I've got my O here. I did that in Helvetica. If you want, you might see if, I don't know, if there's a more oval shaped O, but the O in Helvetica is good. So I've got that O. Move it to the center of the composition and make sure its anchor point is in the center using the Move Anchor Point tool. That's this guy. So yeah, grab that anchor point, put it in the center of the O. Okay, so now we have an O, basically in the middle of the page. O, O, O. Just adjust the circles so they are roughly the same size. This one's a little bit bigger. Whoa, let's hold down Shift. That's better. That's better. And again, it says to move the anchor point so that it is in the center. Okie dokie. So then it says to create an initial keyframe so that you can change the position of the circle in the layers panel, click the arrow next to Circle AI and twirl down menu. Go to Transform, click the stopwatch. So we got to grab our layer that has this red circle. That's the first shape I drew, so it's called Shape 1. I'm going to go down to my Transform controls, click on the Position stopwatch. It says move the playhead to 1 minute, 1 second, 6 frames. That's right here. And then we're going to change the position so that it is at the top of our comp. So now it's gone from the bottom to the top. And we want to take this first keyframe and click on it, copy it, Command C, paste it, Command V, so that over the course of this project, the ball goes up and down. Hooray for us, we've done it. Now it says to move to the last frame. I've already done that, I've pasted it. I think I've done all of these steps now. Then it says select the solid shape and make a keyframe for color. So I'm going to go over to my blue circle. And I'm going to go down to Transform, or actually I have to go into Contents, and then I have to go down to Fill. And we're going to animate the color of this circle. So we're going to go to the first frame of our composition, just like before. We're going to click the stopwatch beside color, because that's what we're animating. Then we're going over to 1 second, 6 frames, and we want to change the color to orange. Orange. L'orange. Naranja. Could be any of these things. So I click OK. That's a happy little orange. So right, it fades from blue to orange. And just like before, I'm going to go copy my first frame, go all the way to the end, and paste it in so that the ball changes color as it goes up and down, up and down, up and down. What we're doing is we're going to be making some sort of abstract bike pump out of circles. Hopefully you can grasp that. So then, for the 0, we're going to make a keyframe for scale and opacity on the first frame. So we're going to close these up, open up our O. We're going to go to the first frame, and we want to click on scale, and we want to click on opacity. And it says that we go to halfway, and we're going to make this a big old O, and we're going to make it go invisible so that it just kind of gets big and fades away. So we're going to go all the way to 6, 1 second, 6 frames, opacity, nothing, scale, humongo. So that as it approaches the center of the frame, it just goes, and then it will fade back down. So we're making this abstract bike pump. Hopefully we can grasp that. I'm going to hold Shift so I can select both of these keyframes. Command C, Command V, paste them in there so that as the bike pump goes up and down, it's like a breathing O. Look at this abstract art. How beautiful. So we go to do that. I've done it. Now all we have to do is bring in our beautiful bike pump sound effect. I don't know why they didn't add the bike pump sound effect as an instruction, but it kind of wrecks the whole thing, doesn't it, if we don't get to see the beautiful bike pump? So let's go ahead and bring in that bike pump. I don't think it says to do it. How odd. It just says to do that. No bike pump. Oh, they like brought it in, but they didn't talk about it? Bicycle pump. Odd. Anyway, we can fix this. We have the technology. We can rebuild him. I'm going to grab this. I bring it into my composition. And I can, using my arrow tool, come in here, line that up, so that if I play this back with some sound, let me turn off my music there. Sorry, everyone. Then I press play, and then I turn my sound back on. Wow, what beautiful abstract art we've created with a red ball bike pump. Wow. We did it. So, let's go check out what it says we need to do next. I think we're at the point of exporting it, and then we're also going to create a looping sequence. So the first thing it says is to export it. We've done exporting before. We just need to go to File, Export. You also might want to save your project. Save as, so that we have this project. Always make a new folder, you know. 2024. This is December. This is a project called Pacing. And then I say create, and we're going to name this thing Pacing. And then after that's done, right, we can go and File, Export. So File, Export, Add to Render Queue. Then, just like before, I have to click where I want this bad boy to go. I'm going to put it in that same folder with my pacing project. And I'm going to name it Pacing once more. Pacing, 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 pacing. Say save, then render. And it's done. Okay, easy peasy. Now, it says to make a new composition by going to Composition, New Composition. So Composition, New Composition. This comp 2, it says we're going to name this thing Pacing Loop and make it 10 seconds long. So we're going to name this Pacing Loop. And this time, right, 10. That's a number, right? 10. Say okie dokie. Now we have a new one. And we're going to go use a trick where we bring in our previous composition, that pacing file. So we're going to go to File, Import, File. And we want to grab that beautiful pacing video we just pumped out of here. Say Open. Now that it's in here, it wants us to drag this to the Layers panel and press spacebar. Okay, and the panel, if we press spacebar, it only plays it back one time. We want this to repeat for an entire 10 seconds. So we're going to right click on that and click on time enable time remapping. Time enable time remapping. Now, what does it say? This will create a property with a keyframe under the layer. Option, click the keyframe to create an expression. So we're going to option click on the keyframe, the first one that is. Option click. Their instruction seems a little broken here. Option click the keyframe icon. Oh, option click the stopwatch. We can do that. That's easy. Option click the stopwatch. That's a way easier way to say that than the keyframe icon. Expressions are code. Yes, this is the very technical part, and the part that admittedly your teacher knows very little about. So we're going to tell it to do some things here. So we're going to go into that expression language menu by clicking this little plus or play sign, and it wants us to go and select property loop out. So we're going to click on this select property, and then we're going to look for loop out. Do you want loop out duration? Just loop out, just a regular old loop out. Property loop out. So we're going to tell it in this expression. If you've done some computer science before, this will be more familiar to you. We're going to go to the end of the composition, and if we drag our video to the end, it basically says it will loop until we tell it to. So by adding this expression, it basically just will loop it as long as we need this video to last. That's all this loop out expression is telling the computer to do. Loop the video until I say to, which is the entire 10 seconds. At this point, right, export it, file, export, add to render queue, render. This time we're going to call it pacing loop. It should take a little bit longer, but not too much longer, because we've already done half the work. And then if we go to our digital design folder, look at there. We have a beautiful video called Pacing Loop. So that's the assignment for today. Hopefully you've enjoyed making a weird little bike pump. The things I want you to observe while doing this project, right? How you can animate color, how you can animate position, transparency, scale, and then also thinking about how if you make a short animation, like you might imagine this bike pump being a short 2-second animation, you can use tools like time remapping in After Effects to make the animation continue much longer than you originally animated it for. All right, folks, that's the whole deal.